This is the public hearing before we get to the regular town council meeting, and judging by the audience, I don't think there'll be a lot of comment related thereto, but all persons are reminded that this session is being recorded and on tape for the preservation of records. You are asked when called upon to give your name, address, and interest in the matter before the council, and that matter is discussion of Ordinance 499, an ordinance to authorize the issuance of general obligation bonds for paving and related purposes thereto in the amount of $500,000. So, we had talked about this in the budget process, approved the budget. It's now spring, it's paving season. We plan to take a chunk of our roads and pave them when the weather breaks. Any comments? Going once, going twice, going 3 times, sold. Close the public hearing. We'll call the regular meeting to order, and please rise for the opening prayer and the pledge. Dear Lord, we submit ourselves to you as your servants and the servants of the people of Hampstead who've placed their trust in us. Please allow every word that is spoken and every action taken to be in the best interest of Hampstead. O Lord, bless this meeting and our town. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry.
Roll, please.
Mayor Nevin,
Yeah, I'm here.
Mr. Cavey,
Here?
Mr. Ayers,
Here.
Ms. Duff,
Here.
Mr. Babylon,
Here.
and Mr. Thomas.
Here.
Minute approvals for the February 12th meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
For February 12th.
I second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Okay, Brad.
Downtown revitalization, our next meeting is in April on the 23rd. I did have some inquiries at the Business Expo about the possibility of including conduit in the road, which would allow us to lease out the conduit for fiber optics to the various utilities and so on. I did contact Dennis German, and he said that is a possibility, realizing, of course, that we'd have to pay for it up front. So we'll explore that and see where that goes. There's a possibility that it's going to be put off until the main project is done. I did speak with Dave Coincall today, and I spoke to him a little bit more about that, and they're going to make one more attempt to get the individuals to give up the easements, but he's not optimistic. Health insurance. We had the representatives from the Legit Health Insurance Cooperative, the trust, in today. They presented their numbers. We are still crunching numbers, so we're not ready to make a decision or anything, but we will continue to work on that and hopefully just make a decision here shortly.
Their numbers are subject to how we use it and us getting reimbursed.
Yeah, so you have to, like, how do I say, if we had a good year where we didn't have a lot of claims, we could get as much as, say, 30 grand back. But if you had a bad year, you won't lose, you won't ever go in the negative, but we could end up breaking even. So that's kind of what we got to take a look at, and we'll discuss that a little further. The RFP for the trash and recycling has been on the street for a couple, 3 weeks. The bid opening is on the 27th of this month at 3:30 p.m. That is a open meeting. The public is allowed to come. If the council members want to come, if you've never been to a bid opening, you're welcome to come observe. And we did have several contractors interested, by the way. So
Good.
The newspapers on the ground, where we sent a letter out to all the newspapers that deliver here in Hampstead. We didn't single anybody out. I did hear back from the merchandiser, actually came here, physically came and spoke to me, and they're going to make a better effort at keeping them off the ground. I also heard from the Baltimore Sun and talked to the lady on the phone, and they're also going to try to keep them off the sidewalks and off the street and get them up on the porches and up towards the house. We talked to Dave for the Northern News. The only ones I have not heard from are the Carroll County Times and the Advocate. I have not heard from them.
It's not limited to Main Street. I was walking through my neighborhood
Yes,
the other day.
they're all over. They're everywhere. And so,
Seems to be in my neighborhood, the merchandiser was the real big one, so.
you know, there was some over here on Shiloh I checked, and it was the Advocate. The Advocate's in the orange. They tend to be in the orange bag. And so if you see orange bags, that's the Advocate. And that's what I found was the Advocate. Let's see, Eagle Scout Court of Honor, I actually attended the first one I've ever been to for Ben Wilson on Sunday here in town. And I was representing the town and the mayor, and we presented a proclamation, and it was quite impressive. I'd never been to one before.
How long did it go?
About an hour. It was pretty much a full hour. He got an awful lot of bling. So,
Was
but
that
well
the young
deserved.
gentleman who replace the bridge
Correct.
at the park? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
He was a nice young man.
Yeah. There's another one. The young man who did the arbor over at Sites Park. His ceremony though is out of town, and so unfortunately I won't be able to attend. And so I think we'll send that one. There were a number of awards and proclamations and such from various organizations and people that were read because they were unable to attend, including our current president and our former president, George Bush. Also, I guess he's still doing it, even though he's out of office. Hurricane Sandy, we actually had a face-to-face meeting with the representative from FEMA. Our initial paperwork has been submitted. We have some additional follow-up data that we need to provide her, so that's in the works. Banner City, we're all set. We're done. Lorena just has to get the final paperwork in, so we're all set for that. Emergency generators, we are going to, I have an application on my desk. FEMA has some money available, and we're going to apply to try to get to purchase 2 emergency generators. We have one now. We feel if we get 2 more, then even if we lose power town-wide, the 3 generators will be able to provide enough juice to keep the pump houses working and keep the towers full. So at least we'll have water. So I will continue to work on that. Right Tree, Right Place. I finally did hear from BG&E. The check's in the mail. So we've heard from most of the residents who have informed us what type of trees they want. And we're looking at doing that probably late April or so. And we'll keep you appraised of that. And I've already talked, I think Nick's going to probably do it for us. And in fact, I was surprised that BG&E is paying us $175 a tree. It was originally $100. It seems to have gone up. So that I know that's economic development. I was invited. I didn't even know this group existed. Carroll County has an economic development committee, and I was invited to the meeting last week. They are putting together. They're calling it the County Main Street Strategic Marketing Plan. And I put an initial copy of that in each of your mailboxes. Take a look at it. If you have any thoughts, please let me know.
Do you know who the MML reps are?
There wasn't anybody there from MML.
Meaning, well, they're from municipal government, and they call it the town representatives.
I guess I'm representing Hampstead. Is that what you're asking?
No, there's usually 2 people from municipal government on the Economic Development Committee for the county.
Oh.
Used to be Matt Canlon
Yeah.
and maybe Henry.
I think Marge is one, and I'm not sure who the other one is. I know that 2 of the mayors were there.
Good.
Let's see, Mayor Roop was there, and Tawny Town, I can't think of his name. McCarran was there. So.
Okay.
CPR training. We have talked about getting some CPR training for town employees, working with Kevin Han right now to get a certified instructor. Once we put that together, any of the council members, I realize you all I'll work full-time, but you would be welcome to that if you'd like to attend. But we just feel that it's important to have CPR training with our employees. The public works guys will come. And in fact, they would be more logical because they're out and about the town. So we are also going to see if we can find some grant money. We'd like to get an AED here in the town hall out front. They're very, very simple to use now. I trained on one just before I came here. And there's a voice and it tells you what to do, walks you right through it. They run about $1,200. So we're looking for some help. Right now, there doesn't seem to be a lot of grant money out there for that sort of thing, but if anybody has any thoughts or knows anyone that does that sort of thing, please let us know, because we very much would like to have one. And then the last thing, Hampstead Crossing, which was the project right across the street from Dean's Restaurant. I'm sure everybody knows that Mike Iliano has bought out that project, and I met a couple of weeks ago with his design engineer. His plan right now is to stick with the approved plans that John Sieverts had that were approved by P&Z. And so there's a number of things that need to be done, and I'm waiting to hear back from them.
I believe the sign I saw said 40% pre-leased. My understanding is a Dollar Tree and like a bank.
Yep, so
How many spaces is it?
you know, I really don't, I haven't, yeah.
Depends on the
Yeah,
size.
I'm not sure about the Dollar Tree thing because I think they wanted a bigger building, so I'm not really
It's
clear.
either 10,000 square feet.
Yeah, and that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Questions for Brad? Marlene, would you like to start us off?
Sure. Just a brief report on the farmer's market. Our advisory team met on February the 25th. We're firming up some plans for the 2013 season. Sharon Callahan's been speaking with local businesses regarding opportunities for sponsoring the market. We're still working on a temporary relocation site for Carnival Week, so I haven't firmed up anything on that. Our opening day is June the 1st. Activities include music, Dave Toman's Magic, and Masquerade Studios will be back for face painting. Both Sharon and I attended the HBA Expo on February 23rd. We promoted the market by handing out many rack cards, and we had nearly 100 people enter our raffle, so that was fun. We have a marketing and public relations volunteer, and she has planned out the entire season of press releases for us to local newspapers and magazines, and she's also making sure that the market is listed in all the local and regional event calendars. And she's working with the Carroll County Tourism Office to make sure that our rack cards go into all the libraries and museums and things like that throughout the county. And then I've been sending out vendor applications to current and potential vendors for the coming year.
Got a time on the 1st that it starts?
9 to 12 every Saturday. That's it.
Thank you. Wayne?
The Hampstead Business Association was plagued with weather problems over the last month. There was bad weather for the expo. The attendance was a lot lower than it's been in other years, but I think there was a pretty good core group of people that were there. And their meeting for the first Wednesday this month was canceled because of the weather. The directory is still in process. They're still accepting ads for anybody that wants to put an ad in the directory.
Great rainstorm. That was March.
Yes, it was, the great rainstorm. Hampstead Train Station Committee is looking forward to our opening day on Hampstead Day. We'll have a train layout as usual. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Jason?
Planning and Zoning Commission met on February 27th. Brad's touched on most of the parts for the revitalization. One thing is that Brad and Roger did attend a meeting in Frederick concerning the Main Street revitalization, and BGE brought up considering replacing the gas line along Main Street, so that's also being considered. North Carroll Farms 5 update. Currently, North Carroll Farms 5 is in negotiations with Greenmount Church regarding some right-of-way issues on Greenmount Road, and there'll be some other updates as that progresses. And there was no county update, and the next meeting will be held on March 27th.
Okay. Tim?
All right. The average water usage in February was 397,000 gallons per day. So far in March, we've seen 394,000 gallons per day. The rainfall total for February was 1.27 inches, And the rainfall total so far for March is 0.65 inches. I'm sure most of that came today. And the first quarter water meeting readings and rechecks were completed, and the MDE monitoring requirements were also collected and delivered to EnviroChem Lab. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Jamie?
Okay, Parks and Recs. Really light this time of year. The only news we have is there's been some feedback about some possible places to sit around the new Neo sign. So we actually are in the talks with an Eagle Scout to do that project. So that's in the works, and we'll see what happens there. And whenever that happens, it's always a win-win for the town. So that's about it.
Thank you. Ken?
Traffic safety, Hampstead police officers issued 97 citations and warnings in February. There were 6 crashes reported. 2 of those occurred on the Jiffy Mart parking lot. No other street had more than 1. Serious crime during February, there were 4 thefts and no burglaries. The types of thefts included thefts of jewelry from a bedroom, theft of gas, theft of a vehicle tag, and theft of scrap metal. There were 3 arrests made in February. The charges included assault and violation of protective and peace orders. Community policing, Hampstead police officers have been making regular visits to our schools. Captain Gribben and PFC Orem attended the HBA Business Expo. Most of the staff attended the HBT Advisory Council meeting where DEA personnel presented on prescription drug abuse, current trends in drug abuse, and designer drugs, bath salts, and spice, that kind of stuff. PFC Schwartz and Captain Gribben attended the Main Street Merchants Association meeting, and PFC Schwartz and Sergeant Riggio attended the Fields HOA meeting. Recent traffic complaints included a complaint that was received from a resident at North Carroll Farms that parents were blocking Lower 40 Drive while waiting for the buses in the morning. Officers visited that area on several occasions but did not witness that type of street blockage. They were pretty much just on the one side of the, I guess it would be the south side of Lower 40. And PFC Orem did talk to the people that were sitting there and told them what the complaint was, what the problem was. And they said, well, sometimes, when it gets really crowded there, people tend to pull up on that side, but it's very rare. So hopefully, we're getting the message out that that's not something they should be doing. The other complaint was received via Councilman Babylon. This was this morning or yesterday?
It was over the weekend.
Okay. Of speeding complaint on Willow Street. PFC Orem was out there yesterday and observed no violations. We'll position the speed display sign once we correct the battery issue. Soon? Soon. And in the meantime, we're going to have some enforcement out there. During the winter, our flag holder fell apart from the front of the building, and we're in the process of working with the Public Works guys to get either a 20 or 30 foot.
We'd like to go with 30 if we can afford it. Flagpole, official flagpole thing.
Put out there by the police station, and so it'll be a significant upgrade to what we had, and I think it'll look decent. And talking about putting solar lighting or something of that nature there to.
Yes, because if you leave the flag up overnight, it's going to be lit, so that's the logical way to go.
What they were saying is that they would have it powered by solar energy, so that we wouldn't have to run the wiring under the
correct
side of the fence.
So we're working on that.
Canine activity, PFC Halterman and Nego conducted 4 vehicle scans and an area search during February. On the staff account, we were full staff in February. Sergeant Gagler continues on light duty due to the elbow surgery that she had, and we hope to have her back at full duty in about 3 weeks. Reminder, the next meeting of the Hampstead Police Advisory Council is scheduled for Wednesday, May the 22nd, 7 p.m. right here. That's it.
Thank you.
May I just ask a question?
Yes.
It's not really a question, but I notice Detective Gagler is really busy with like the undergraduate work she's doing and everything. How does she have? How often does she do this car safety seat checks? Is that something that she just does on an as requested basis? Okay, because in the back of my mind, I would see these all the time. That Stacy does all these, and I'm thinking, don't people know how to put these things in? But the thing is, a couple months ago, well, no, a couple months ago, there was a child in New Windsor who died, like a 6-year-old the parent was fine in the car accident, but the child died. It was in a car seat, but it was not properly installed. So while I'm thinking, is it really important to do this? Just let Stacy know that it is important that she continue to do that, and we appreciate that, her effort.
A lot of times it's with, of course, new parents.
Yeah.
The first one they get put in, they get it at the store and they're like, I don't know how to put this thing. Or with grandparents when their children and grandchildren are visiting from out of state or something like that, where they know that they're going to have to install a car seat that is much newer than they're used to. But she does probably, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 a year.
Does she? Well, it's appreciated because I never even thought how important that was until I saw that article in the paper about that child being thrown from the whole seat came out in the accident. So the parent was fine, but the child died, and I just can't imagine. So just let her know that keep up that diligence.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Ken? All right. My comments. It's legislative season, full swing down in Annapolis. A couple of local impact stories. The governor has introduced basically a transportation taxing plan, and it's not favorable to the small towns and cities. It's all about regional. It's all about mass transit. So the small towns continue to take a hit on the highway user revenue, which is basically revenue we get from you filling up your gas tank here locally. It continues to go to the larger metropolitan regions. Under the proposed plan, I know MML is working trying to amend that to lessen the impact of it. To the extent it impacts us, we're doing a $500,000 bond to get enough volume of roads so we get some decent discount pricing, as opposed to we get $100,000 this year, which really doesn't do a whole lot as far as putting a dent into the paving needs of our town. It used to be that we got on the order of $300,000 a year when the plan was fully funded. So you can see how much of an impact it's had to us, and that $100,000 we're getting this year is actually an increase over from $46,000 that we got the year before. So you can see the kind of impact it has on the local level. The other thing is you've heard me talk about the ethics ordinance that the state passed a while back, and MML's been working to try to lessen the impact of that to small towns for fear that people may not want to run for office or be appointed to office. Apparently the House is an issue related to that. They sort of like the plan as it is, so we'll see if anything comes of that. Other than that, we're going to have to figure out how to fill out these multi-page forms, which really do nothing. MML convention's coming up for us in the summertime, and want to just to point out that Wayne will finish serving 20 years for the town of Hampstead, so he qualifies for the Hall of Fame in the Maryland Municipal League. So we'll be filling out paperwork so that Wayne is duly recognized and joins the Hall of Fame at the municipal level while we're down there this summer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other news, the award news is our chief, even though he hates that I bring this up, but he's one of the honorees for the Northern News Wolf Award, and I guess so he was one of the co-honorees, not the main honoree, but that dinner's next Thursday, and several people from the town will be at that dinner, which will be held down at Arcadia, but it's well-deserved that you be recognized for 40 years in law enforcement and since 1996 here. So, I think that's a great award, and I think that they picked out a bumper crop of people to be given awards this year, from Mary Jo from Dean's to Kim Dolch, the principal at North Carroll High School, who's done such a great job. And the award winner is, I forget, Wilson Lippy, isn't it? And the work he's done with the Christian farmers. So we'll be at the dinner in force, and congratulations to Chief Meekins. We have an election coming up in May. Three council seats are open this time around for us. That would be Marlene's seat, Wayne's seat, and Jamie's seat. And you have to be registered by the beginning of April, basically 31 days before the election. So whatever that works out to, but basically the beginning of April, we'll have notices out, and 3 people have registered so far to be candidates, and that would be Marlene, Wayne, and Clay Fisher, who's sitting in the back of the room. I'm sure there will be more to come, but I enjoy the compressed election season that is Hampstead, as opposed to the ongoing and never-ending one at a national level, it seems, with the state not, coming in far behind. But it's also interesting to note that we're not the only town having the elections in May. Every town in the county has their elections basically in May. Half the towns have the mayoral election with 2 council seats, and then the other half, which we are included this time, will just have the council seats. So people should be focused on that and reading up on the candidates. As for me personally, I'll be going to the Lions Club with Brad in a couple weeks for their second March meeting, just to give them an update on Hampstead, the way I see things, and whatever else they want to ask me about. So I look forward to doing that. That's it for me. There is no unfinished business unless somebody wants to say something. And as far as the main item of new business, we are celebrating our 125th anniversary this year. Formed in 1888, and I think April something or other, right? And so we wanted to, without going overboard in these times, we wanted to do a little bit of marketing on our 125th anniversary. And I must thank Lorena Vaquer, who is our town clerk. She's done a great job with this. I came up with an idea that we should have sort of like a flag and banner contest, and then she basically took it from there. We had a few people come in and provide their skills and their ideas for how Hampstead should be recognized. We didn't want to do a bid or a hire thing where, we just did a commercial thing and said, come up with some ideas. We wanted some local people to do some input, and we did have a couple of local people come forward. And basically at our town dinner in December, we were looking at 3 different options. And the people present, which is pretty much everybody here and anybody who serves on any commission or board or an employee, came up with a 4th option, and that's what you see. They basically liked what they saw with the train station in one and the sort of the Maryland colors with the little bit of the Hampstead green in the background. So we could see that we were Hampstead and we were within the state of Maryland, and they wanted to see the 1888 to 2013 prominently displayed. So that's what everybody came up with, and I say without, I don't know, there was probably 60 people at this dinner, and maybe all but 3 agreed that this would be the winning entry. So I apologize, I didn't bring out the people's names of the 2 who were combined, but we basically thanked them for coming up with these ideas. We gave them a couple of gift certificates to local restaurants for doing this. So you'll see the banners over here. Those will fly along Main Street. I think we're going to do sort of like in every other one, along with our normal rotation. And then there's the flag that'll start flying very shortly. And these are also, if you would like to have them, they're available for purchase. We'll order some more if you would like to have them. And I believe in last week's Northern News there was an article sort of on the back pages, but you can also check our website if you would like to order them and display them on your property.
Mayor, Kenny Ditto is here. He's one of the designers.
Well, thank you. And
Laura.
Oh, they're both here.
well, thanks for filling me in.
I thought you knew. I thought you invited
No,
me.
I didn't know. There you go.
Thank you all very much.
And-
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. And I apologize to you for your misspelling of your name. You had, your email address.
I've had that happen a lot. It's just
So.
my email has my middle initial in there, so it's a little confusing.
But thank you very much to both of you for doing that. And, I think it'll be appreciated by everybody in town when they get flown and get seen. Oh, and the other thing we got is the little pins here that everybody's sporting to commemorate the 125th anniversary as well. And I'll be giving them out as the year progresses. We got a gross of them, I think. So, a neat way to basically market the fact that we have a 125th anniversary. And I think the banners and the flags and everything capture basically the spirit, history, charm, and character of our town. And everybody at the dinner thought so. So, it's always great when you get a 90% approval rating to anything you want to do, which is so rare these days. So, any other new business?
Yes, there's some new requirements coming out for recycling that they want business to participate in. And I've brought this up for discussion before that, there are some businesses here in town that have to hire their own trash pickup. And so they're not afforded an opportunity to participate in a recycling program as a rule, or I should say as a practice. And I would like the town to consider allowing businesses, for example, CarQuest. CarQuest has a private commercial trash pickup. But if they wanted to participate in the town's recycling, it would be nice if we could, offer up an opportunity for them to do so.
I'm guessing the only issue is the cost involved, because I'm guaranteed it's not like they put out one of those blue totes. It's a a big dumpster.
Well, it depends. I'm president of the Hampstead Valley Garden Condominium Association, and we have an increased interest in recycling within our development, to the point where we're considering getting the bigger totes, the roll-around 70-gallon ones that we can put out for the tenants to use down there. But I'm not sure what it costs the town for recycling pickup. But if you think about it, businesses in town that own buildings, they pay municipal taxes, and they don't get the pleasure of town trash pickup, which is one of the big things that the town does provide. So if we could find some way to include those businesses in the recycling pickup, it would be greatly appreciated, I'm sure, by them.
What did we put in RFP?
We just put the normal residential recycling pickup. I wish we could have included that. And
there are several businesses along Main Street that do put their trash out with the town's residential trash and gets picked up. So, for the smaller businesses along Main Street, I think they could probably put recycling out there, and it wouldn't be a tremendous amount. But, okay, thanks.
Look into it. And those blue recycling bins that you see around on trash day, we give them out free. So if you got one that's all beat up and held together with duct tape, chief, or don't have one right now.
I'm thrifty.
Yeah, sure.
It's
it's free.
well used.
Recycling that plastic.
Yes.
So if you want a new one, all you got to do is call town hall and we'll get them to you.
He tries to put it out for trash every week, but they won't pick it up. Recycling.
I did have one other thing, Mr. Mayor, that I probably should have put in my report. We did get word, and I have a copy of it, the state law relative to towing off of private property has been changed drastically. We have a copy of it Wayne provided that you picked up somewhere. I think that you've seen it, right, Chief? Yeah, I sent it over to the Chief. He's looked at it. So we're going to need to make a change to our ordinance, and we will get that put together, and I'll try to get it to you in the next month or two. But it has changed substantially from what is in our code. Our code is a little bit vague anyway, so you will see something in the next month or two to change that ordinance.
Okay.
I suggested that we might want to put it off till after the session closes to make sure they don't tweak it anymore. But the new signs are probably bigger than we allow for most businesses. It's a sign that has to be 36 by 24.
Yeah, it's like a book. You have to have all this information. It's ridiculous.
Oh, and while I keep bringing up the one more thing, this Saturday, in addition to having St. Patty's Day weekend, has the, what do we call that, triannual, or once every, 3 times a year we have bulk trash pickup, otherwise known as a community yard sale. The pickup trucks will be out Friday night, so please make sure you put your bulk trash out on Friday night for Saturday pickup. I know March is typically a big one because it's been 6 months since the last one, so spring cleaning in full effect in Hampstead.
Reminds me, if anybody wants to help me carry a couch out of my basement, somebody who lives up the street, looks good in a bow tie, right around the corner.
All right.
Hey, Wayne, did you have something you wanted to bring up regarding feral cats? You were mentioning it last week.
I had an issue over the weekend, so I didn't get the paperwork done.
Okay.
But I'll bring it up. But in a nutshell, I've had an education on feral cats over the last year. The traditional wisdom has been the best way to get rid of feral cats is have the county pick them up and euthanize them. But I've learned from organizations that are around that that's not the best thing to do, because once you remove the cats, other cats come in to take their place. So there's a program of spay, neuter, and release. And in the process of doing that, they also vaccinate the animals and treat them for whatever parasites they might have. It's highly organized here in Carroll County. I was actually participated in the program with the feral cats that are on my block. So we rounded up 8 of them, had them done. 2 of them actually ended up in someone's home as pets, and the other 6, one of them has disappeared, but there are still 5 there. The good news is that they're, when you have a program where they're taken care of, you don't have to worry about if they, get near anybody or attack or do anything to hurt them because they've had their shots. The other thing is, as part of that program, they provide feeding stations. And in providing a feeding station, then you reduce the amount of trash rip out that you get from cats that are doing that. Also in the last year, you know, we learned about the lady who was taking care of the cats behind Weiss Market. There's also someone who's taking care of cats down by Southern States that I've recently learned about. So I think rather than having a program where, you know, our town law is pretty explicit about, you know, ownership of a cat, and I think what we ought to do is tweak the law to allow feral cat programs to exist. That way we can hold down the population of cats, because they're always going to be here, but this way at least we can control it. And there's been, I think there was a town, I think it was Burkittsville, actually, engaged one of these programs where they took care of their feral cat program all at one time. Just came in town, small town, they came and just trapped them all, had them taken care of. And it's worked out pretty nice on my block, so I'd like to see us institute it, you know, throughout the town. And that'll,
I'll offer any support if you need help with it.
I appreciate that. Thank
Did
you.
you say they put a little nick in their ear?
Yes, they.
So you could
yeah,
tell?
Yeah, so if you, any cat that's been, there's this feral cat program, and when they spay and neuter them, they clip their left ear. So if you see a cat that's got its left ear clipped off so there's no point on it, you know that's a cat that's been spayed, neutered, and has its shots. And the program includes you recapture them every year and take them in for their shots.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. Anything else? No more things. Ordinances and resolutions. Our previously discussed ordinance 499, which is an ordinance to authorize the issuance of the general obligation bonds for paving and related purposes, with $500,000 as a reference amount.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 499.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Roll call.
Okay.
Mr. Cavey?
Yes.
Mr. Ayers?
Yes.
Ms. Duff?
Yes.
Mr. Babylon?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance is approved. On the public comments. Got a few folks here tonight. Do we have any? Nice to see you, Doug. Mr. Hale. Glad you guys could come. Been a while. Going once. Going
Do you have a camera?